Hi everyone, welcome along. In this video we're going to show you how to show that backlog who is boss. So common situation for services organizations is we've got a backlog, it's either slowly building or we're trying to figure out how we work through it. So we're going to show you a few tips and techniques on that, which you can do in Precursive PSA or in your own, hopefully in your own PSA solution. Others are available. So in this example, I've got my demand forecast dashboard, which is showing me my total demand. And this demand is driven by what's coming through from sales. So when our AEs are selling deals, we have PS attached on the opportunity in Salesforce, and that flows through here. It could be, as we can see at the top here, we've got this PS request, where we might be making requests for PS resources on projects or more broadly across our CS or support organization. And it could also be resource requirements that we're creating within projects or on managed services. So this dashboard is showing me my demand, and then I can obviously cut that in different ways. But if I want to look at commit, I can begin to understand what's coming down the pipeline and what that's going to look like in terms of our capacity. So for example, we can see already that in April we're going to have some issues with our consultants. Based upon what's in commit at the moment, it's unlikely that we're going to be able to meet that demand, so we're going to have to do something about it, because we can see that we're under in terms of FTE equivalents that we're going to need for that period. So let's look at how we can visualize that or do something about it, at least know what's going on to begin with. So if I hop into Precursive Plan, this is showing me my team down the left hand side and their capacity and availability. And if we zoom out, we can see into the future where people have white space or are overbooked, or indeed may have some availability. And then I can obviously look at that in different ways. So for example, if we want to look at those consultants, we can see, this is what they're working on at the moment in terms of their bookings, right? So underneath we've got what projects they're working on, the amount of effort that is associated with that work. The color coding differentiates between, in this example, some delivery work versus maybe managed services. And you can see here we've also got some PTO. And therefore, if I look at April for a moment, so let's go to the beginning of April, we can see, right, the level of capacity for our team. So we do have some availability. However, what's driving this this issue is our pipeline, right? And so in our request mode, we've got these requirements for upcoming projects down the left-hand side. And then we can see, for example, what's happening with some of these projects. This one's on hold. We've got a deal here which is 100k ARR that's forecast, so we may want to do something about that. We can also see here we've got a project where we need a specific skill set for the consultant on that work. And again, I'm able to differentiate between different types of work using the color coding, which tells me either, for example, that it's a certain SKU, or in some instances for our customers, it might be the revenue value of that project. So we don't just have that capacity heat map, but a heat map of our revenue. So if we take one of these projects, like, what do we need to do? We need to staff some work, figure out how that's going to impact our availability and capacity, and potentially think about maybe upskilling some of our staff who may be able to take on some of this work. So let's have a look at some of those scenarios. So here with this Blazor project, I need to find the consultant. So it's 100k in ARR. And Precursive is bringing up all of the different consultants that I have here. So for example, I could look for certain skills or knowledge. So let's come across here. So I'm kicking off, as we can see, on the 15th of March. And down the left-hand side, I've got people's skills and capabilities mapped out. So for example, if I need someone with this CC product knowledge, then I can go and look for that. And it's going to suggest someone, as we can see here, we've got Brad. He's working on this project. He's actually on holiday this week. And I can begin to manipulate things by saying, look, I want to see the availability. I can look at this requirement using different sort of time units here. So for example, now we can see we've got this project. We can see we need 4 hours a day, and the level of effort is pretty much sort of 50% utilization across that period of time. And we know that Brad can meet that based on his availability. So he might be the best fit. So I could certainly go and assign that to him, and the relevant tasks on that project plan are going to go over to Brad. I'm going to hop over though and actually go into that project, which is this Blazor project here, which is the one that I was looking on. And here are the various tasks and activities for this particular project, as we can see here with some of the dependencies, right? So kicking off next week with some PM activities, and then we've got the initial data migration session on the 15th. So that's pretty clear. And again, what that does is that automates the effort required here, as we can see. So I can do some of that, you know, working out of people's availability and capacity, or I can come over here and say, look, I'm going to use this magic assign feature, which is going to help me figure out who the best fit is based upon skills and availability. So in this example, it's showing me that Brad is the best fit, which is something we'd already seen. So what I can do is I can assign that to them, or alternatively, if, for example, over here, if actually we needed to give this to George, but we can see here that that particular task, the system build, he cannot do because of his availability. We might give that task to someone else if we're able to do that in a project plan, or we'd need to think about rescheduling that system build to a slightly different date to accommodate that. In this example, I'm going to assign this to Brad, and what that's going to do is it's going to assign all of those tasks to him, send him a notification, even though he's on holiday, having a great time, right? So what we can do now is head over to our project plan, and we can see here, if we go in, that now Brad is on the project. There he is, very good. And again here, I'll refresh and come out of the request mode, and we can see that he's now on this piece of work as well. So this one is going to come off our backlog. So let me refresh this page, and let's have a look at getting into some additional requirements, right? So again, we've got our different clients down the left here. Let's maybe look at something in the future. So let's have a look here. What have we got? We've got some different projects here. We've got a solution architecture project, which is actually scheduled in, and it is confirmed. So that's coming in later on in June. Now, for example, I might be thinking about, well, can I actually, in a situation where I've got a heavy backlog, potentially I might want to be thinking about upskilling a member of the team, right? And doing some internal training in order to create more capacity in our organization to take on more work and get through the backlog. So let's show you how that scenario might be fulfilled. So for example, you know, we've got our different team members here. Let's say we've got a consultant who we're looking to bring on and develop them. So we can see here, Chris, he's got a lot of different certifications. He's got a thirst for learning, shall we say. So let's look at how we could actually think about, well, we're going to schedule in some training between now and June, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start maybe in April, right? So let him finish up with Zapier, and I'm going to put in some training. And let's see here. So if we start in April, we'll go for a week. We'll put in a couple of hours a week, and let's add that in. So that's gone in now. So we want to get him earmarked for that role. So what I'll do is I'll just right click on this booking here now, and I'm going to repeat that maybe through till the end of May, for example, right? So let's go through till the end of May, and that should hopefully help, and then let's come in here, put in a note, upskilling for the managed services engagement. Cool. So again here now, right, I'm going to actually then assign that over to Chris, right? So here's my solution architect piece. Right, I'm going to take out the need for a solution architect, and I'm going to give it to Chris. Now I could have just dropped it onto him, but I just wanted to show the searching of that. Right, and that's done. So that's helping us work through and replan, which is great. So if we come back over here now, right, and we refresh this page, which I can't do because it's just refreshed, but we would see then, you know, the impact on that capacity. I'll come back here in a minute. I'm going to drop into this dashboard, which also is giving us a different view of that backlog, which again could be combined right into one dashboard, but it's giving us a slightly different view, which is our project backlog from a revenue standpoint, right? So looking at our forecast, for example, in terms of our revenue and our profitability for a period and what rates we're achieving. So again, we can look at that information in different ways throughout Precursive. I think that's about it for now for battling that backlog. So any thoughts, let us know. Just post, comment, like and subscribe. Have a good day.